on, everybody? It is another tough week here at the Playbook Sports Podcast. We went a full year last year without all of our teams losing, only once the year prior, and this is the second time through 8 weeks where all of our teams have lost. You guys know the vibe. We'll have the Blazin Hot segment coming up shortly where we all want to kill ourselves. Last week in picks, a strong overall week. Addison had a hard weekend, everybody. All right, so be nice in the comments. Be nice. I'll go at the top. Me and Bobby both went 11-5 on the week. I'm all the way back in picks, 20 in the last 2 weeks. Let's ride. Still can't get a mortal. Don't worry about my mortal lock record. Don't even worry about it. Doesn't even matter. Colin at 10-6, very strong week. Now 1 game back of first place behind Addison and Bobby, who are now tied in first. Sage 9-7. He is sitting 7 games back currently, but right there. We're all right there. And then Addison 6-10, as he has seen that large lead evaporate. But Mortal Lock winner, still in first place in Mortal Locks. Now, before we jump into the Blazing Hot segment, we all lost in devastating fashion this weekend, I would say. But you guys were right there. You came back. He gave you some hope. Gave you some hope and then said, no, just kidding.
17 in the fourth.
Right.
Look close.
And it was what? You were winning at halftime.
Yeah.
And then they went 21-0 in the third quarter. It's like, okay, that's great. Yeah, that was tough.
Pick play, obvious pick play.
Got to be a flag.
Purdy's like a whole football length short touchdown.
Yep, give it to him. Mm-hmm. Welcome to San Francisco. Okay. I lost on a last-second field goal to Arizona in the second straight week. The Dolphins were winning by 10 points and absolutely pissed down their leg. Sage got Jameis Winston so hard. But none of that really compares. Honest to God, none of that compares to the pain that Addison went through this weekend. Addison, just take us through that moment, please.
Well, I was watching the game with my dad, and the play prior, before the
13 yards.
Yeah, and I'm obviously screaming,
what are we doing? Cover the boundary.
Yeah. And the play before that, they got tackled in bounds, and George goes, "Oh, that's game." Thinking they didn't have a timeout. I'm like, no, they got a timeout. There's still time. Yep. And I'm sitting there absolutely tweaking. They get to the Hail Mary play. I see only 4 people up, 3 people rushing. Looks like a quarterback spy.
Egregious holding, by the way.
Oh,
I mean, we're not going to talk about it because it's still a Hail Mary. But
yeah, the Hail Mary, I get it. They don't call penalties, but maybe they should because illegal blindside block and a really bad holding.
Egregious.
Really bad holding allowed Jaden Daniels to scramble for 12 seconds, which just made it worse and worse. Then right when the ball gets released from his hand, all hope is gone. I mean, immediately you see the flight of the ball was pretty, and then you see the one defender in the end zone, and you think, oh no. And then the tip right to Noah Brown.
Right to his hands. And
that was, dead silence in the place. And, I'm frozen. It was about an hour where I'm just looking at my phone, just scrolling Twitter. Nothing's even refreshing, and I'm just looking for Bears tweets. But it's heartbreaking as a Bears fan. I can't imagine the players. And then for the Tyreek Stevenson video to come out, makes it even worse because he was the deep guy, a part of the Hail Mary, and it's like he's not even paying attention. Just tough look. If there's a way the Bears can lose, they're going to find it, especially under Eberflus. But, that might take the cake for the worst loss under Eberflus, and it's the worst since the double doink, for sure. 100%. Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, my jaw literally dropped, and I stood here for a minute, and then I saw you texted before my TV was behind. All I see is Addison's text that says, because I said 25 seconds in a dream, and all I see is a text that says, and I'm watching, I'm like, what happened? And then it caught, and my jaw literally dropped. I've got goosebumps talking about it. I don't even fucking like the Commanders. I go running into the room like, Rebecca, you have to watch this, and she's watching, same thing, jaw dropped, and I was like, I can't believe what I just saw. Yeah. Like, how does that happen?
Jaden Daniels, mystique grows, the legend grows for him. It's a tough one. Bears shouldn't have been in the game, but we'll talk about that.
That would have been a game where if you're a Commanders fan, you can't even really feel good about the win because it's like, what are we doing? You held Caleb Williams to 38 passing yards through 3 quarters of football. 38 passing yards, and you can't score a touchdown because that's what the Bears defense does. Bears defense, once again, just keeping them in. They're going to be in every single football game this year. Yeah. Any big spreads against the Bears, you take the Bears because that defense is not going to give up touchdowns. Montez Sweat looks like a man possessed out on the field.
He does.
I still think you should go get a pass rusher. Just another one to double down.
Yeah, that's a rough one, though. It's a rough one.
That one's hard to swallow.
Was it harder of a loss because of who you were playing as Jaden Daniels?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, I obviously hater talk a little bit. He looked good. He didn't look great. They didn't score any touchdowns until the Hail Mary. Hey, we have a good defense, but their first time against a good defense, it's red zone trips, no touchdowns. Bears actually take the lead, Defense does a job. Offense somehow actually takes the lead.
Yep.
That's different in the past, but I think that makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because we actually took the fucking lead.
Could have
How
won,
many
stole
times
it.
I've seen the defense compete, give us a shot, and then the offense can't do shit down a score.
Williams led 2 game-winning drives.
Yeah.
If you
And
think
then
about
Doug
it.
Kramer,
The
yeah,
Doug
good
Kramer
job.
fumble trying to make him the frig.
Yeah.
It's like you don't practice. Big Cat said it best in there because of course I'm a sicko and I wanted to hear Big Cat's.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear what he had to say about it after the game, and he's like, "That's something you practice when you're winning by 3 touchdowns."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Let's get a rep of this in, get it on tape so they see it."
Yep.
That's not something you do when you're trying to take the lead. That's
It's
not
like
something you
Roshan
do.
Johnson has been a bum with the goal.
He's a power
Yeah.
back. He scored the
That's all he
touchdown.
does is score touchdowns. He's got like 50 yards, and it's like
And a
5
touchdown.
touchdowns. And it's like, I mean, he's a power back completely. I mean, it wasn't a bad handoff by Caleb as well. He like jammed it in the chest, but it's just, why are we going to a backup lineman on the goal line? I don't know. Tough look. I mean, it was a heartbreaking game. I can't even imagine.
Devastating.
Yeah, it just
Devastating.
the players got to feel down in the dumps.
Deflated.
Down
Just
in the dumps.
deflated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Locks, something more positive here because we're going to get in more into each of our teams as we get into our Blazing Wings segment. Locks 2-1 on the week. What was our only loss? Was it the
Ravens.
Ravens minus 4.5? We'll talk more about them.
The Chiefs
Still.
won their part of the teaser. Texans won their part of the teaser. It was just the Ravens, unfortunately.
Yep. We'll get more into them later, but still 16-8 on the year. You absolutely love to see that. Just
yeah.
making money. Outrageous take. Cincinnati to win the North. Definitely took a shot.
Yeah,
losing
big
by
shot.
20 at
Big
home.
shot. Yeah, we did it though. The Ravens losing
True.
helps.
True. Very true. Although Steelers running away with
Yeah,
it.
no, Steelers might just win the whole
Steelers might
division.
run away with it, which is crazy. Also, Cincinnati on the year. 0-4 at home.
They ain't doing that.
0-4 at home is a bad look, man. You can't have that. Sage, fantasy sleeper is a big week. I'm going to hand you the mic so you can tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a rough week. I mean, aside from quarterback, we did pick Bo Nix. Bo Nix had a legacy game, basically.
He did.
Dude just puts up points now. And look who's playing next. Baltimore.
He faced it.
And he's about to throw for 300 again against Baltimore because we're absolutely dookie. I also went with Jaleel McLaughlin for running backs. He did score a touchdown, got over 10 points in fantasy. Love to see that. I believe he had like 37 yards on the ground.
47 rushing and then 9 yards receiving and a touchdown receiving.
So pretty solid week
Very
from backup
solid.
running
Yeah,
back.
definitely.
You know, can't complain with that.
If I had to start him, I would be thrilled.
Exactly.
With that output.
Ricky Pearsall, he had 4 catches in the first half and then nothing after that. So I was expecting a way bigger game because I was like, oh, he's eating up
he's involved,
targets,
yeah.
you know? He's killing it. Didn't work out so well. Our deep sleepers absolutely shat the bed.
Wow, they're deep sleepers.
Jake Bobo had 3 yards.
Deep sleepers.
And I'm pretty sure
Jonas
Jonas
Johnson.
Johnson also had 3 yards.
That's tough.
That's
Yeah.
like you're 1-6 in fantasy, and you're like, I gotta put someone out there.
Right.
I don't have anybody else to play. Sorry. No, nothing wrong with being 1-6 in fantasy. Okay.
Hunter Henry had a few catches, but again, nothing crazy. And the one that I was really excited about, who I was like, if this hits, it's me. It's all me. Jalen McMillan did nothing.
K-Dotton did everything.
Because K. Dotton did everything, and I wasn't complaining because I started K. Dotton.
Yeah.
But no, Jalen McMillan. I expected him or Trey Palmer to be the one to step up. Trey Palmer woke up, tweeted out he's mad as fuck, and then shit the bed.
And then did not play football. 'Cause he was so mad.
Neither one of them scored as many points as their third wide receiver. So it was a rough day for the sleepers.
I would take Bo Nix.
Yeah,
If I had to play a
aside from
quarterback,
Bo Nix and McLaughlin scored a touchdown.
Pierce also had like 11 points in fantasy also.
Yeah.
He had a 40-yard rush in there. So
Yes, he did.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I would take it if I had to.
Yeah.
If I'm subscribing to Sage's Sleepers, I would be okay with it.
I mean, they scored more points than some of my starters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there you go.
Take it.
Absolutely. All right. Blazin' Hot segment brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, where we are going to either hype up our team, crush our own team, or crush another team. And today I'm going to crush another team, and that team I'm going to crush is the New York Jets. All offseason the last 2 years, all I've heard is how good the New York Jets are going to be. That defense is elite. Robert Saleh, Matt Gassman told me that Robert Saleh's only got a bad record because he doesn't have a quarterback. Well, now he doesn't have a job either. What happened to that? But all I've heard is how good that defense is and how they're gonna roll when Aaron Rodgers gets there. And then they bring in Devontae Adams. You know what the problem is when you recreate the Green Bay Packers of 2019? First of all, they're all 5 years older. Second of all, they didn't win shit. They didn't win a damn thing in Green Bay. Good job on making the playoffs and perennially losing in disappointing fashion. Congratulations. Now you don't even get to do that in the Jets. And last year, the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers week 4. They still look good with Zach Wilson. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers was playing for that team last year. Imagine. I'm seeing it right now, and they're 2-6 with a loss to the soft New England Patriots, who were told by their head coach, we're soft. We're too soft to play this game. And not only that, but then they lose Drake May, who was balling early. But then it's like we got to go back to Jacoby Brissett, who is literally horrible at football. And not only do they win the game, Jacoby Brissett essays a game-winning drive to end that game. Greg Zuerlein, how are you still on the team? How is Greg Zuerlein still on the team? He's cost him at least 2 football games. At least 2 football games. He's got to go. And the Jets fire Robert Saleh. And now Ulbrich, his defense is falling apart. Yep. Defense can't stop anybody. You give up 25 points to the Patriots? What are we doing? The week before that, you give up 37 to Russell Wilson, who looks good, but it was his first game back. You give up 37 points. The Jets are absolutely abysmal. They're currently playing for a top 5 pick in the draft, and all of their team is gone after this year. Devontae Adams, you're not going to pay him $30 million. See ya. Aaron Rodgers is going back to the darkness. He looks like a 41-year-old quarterback who wanted to retire and said, you know what? No, I want to play. And he doesn't. He doesn't want to play. He's not playing. He doesn't want to play. The offensive line stinks, as we knew it would, because it's the Jets. And the defense is falling apart, and it makes me happy. In a year where a lot of things in football haven't made me happy, this brings me some serious joy. This brings me a lot of joy, seeing them struggle so bad and just get beaten 5 times in a row by Bo Nix and the Broncos, the Vikings, the Bills, the Steelers, and the Patriots. Oh, it is beautiful, and it's something I'm taking immense pride in. And just, that's all my joy right now is the Jets sucking. So, Colin, I'm swinging it over to you because that one was a more positive one, and I get a feeling we're going to have a little more well, mine was positive for me. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Colin, what do you got for us? I'm going to eat my wing now and suffer.
So I almost contemplated eating the wing first because I think it does add a little bit to the message you're trying to send while you're being flustered, dealing with all this spice. Cowboy resident over here. I'm going to bash the Cowboys a little bit. Jerry Jones, number 1, can't run a team anymore. He had a couple good drafts last few years. This past year showed me all I need to see. Mm-hmm. I get Tyler Guyton's a rookie left tackle, but I have to watch Terrence Steele play right tackle any longer. I'm going to start doing hardcore drugs because this guy stinks. Defense stinks. I get you're missing Tank Lawrence, you're missing Micah Parsons, you're missing Deron Bland. 3 Pro Bowl type players. I get it. But I'm just seeing no adjustments after the bye week. Got the week off. We're going to come out prepared. No, we don't come out prepared. We lose in San Francisco yet again. Not a surprise there. You trade for Trey Lance. You trade a 4th-round pick this past draft. Turns out being Isaac Grindo, who just went for, 89 yards on your face and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice if the Cowboys had a running back that, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. I don't know, but we don't need a running back. We'll take washed-up fat Dalvin Cook, who I guess is doing shooters on the sideline.
Yep, hitting the 99 proof.
But Cowboys aren't going to be the only ones that get it. It's hard to, bash another team when your team doesn't have a leg of their own to stand on. But I'm going to do it anyway because what the hell? I have no repercussions on our end here. Next one that's getting it is either the Browns ownership and or Deshaun Watson, because who is making the calls to keep this guy playing the fucking games? Because this guy stinks. You bring in Joe Flacco, who's old as shit last year, 300 yards passing. You bring in Jameis Winston, who hasn't played football in, 3 years? Mm-hmm. Like, actually in a regular season game, and he puts up 300 immediately and a victory. Browns front office, Deshaun Watson, get the fuck out. Go. Last one, Matt Eberflus. I'll punch down. Yes, Tyree Stevenson, you can't be on the field back turn to the play, either hyping up your own fans on the road or bashing the home fans for the opposing team. Eberflus. The 13 yards before the Hail Mary doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
Absolutely it matters. Guess what? We're coming off a bye. Shane Waldron, why are we running fullback dives to back up offensive linemen or offensive linemen in general? How is that your game plan coming off the bye? You come out in the first half of the game, you don't move the ball at fucking all. How do you have a full extra week to prepare and you come out and don't do dick? I don't know. That's all I'm bashing down. Last thing, Addison and I talked about it on the car on the way here. Matt Eberflus as a head coach has won 3 road games. He's 3-17 as a head coach on the road. What? Can Sage and Nate, 25 seconds, name the 3 quarterbacks that Matt Eberflus and the Bears have beaten on the road since he's been head coach?
I can't imagine it's either amazing or it's terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay, it's terrible. Okay. Oh my God, no, I really can't.
Will Levis. Was that at home?
It was in Buffalo Chicago. I can't talk.
Bears haven't won on the road.
I'll save you guys I'll save you the hassle. 2 years ago, they went to New England, beat Bailey Zappi.
Oh, Zappy hour.
Hey, that's hard.
Last year, they went to Washington, beat Sam Howell. And last year, they went to Minnesota, didn't score a touchdown in that game, and beat Josh Dobbs and the Vikings 12-10.
No. Okay.
So,
wow.
Sam Howell, Bailey Zappi, Josh Dobbs.
Okay, that's not.
Only one of those guys I have somewhat respect for.
Which one?
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, fair.
Gotta love Josh Dobbs.
He's going to win a Super Bowl this year.
So, Eberflus, I get it.
When he takes over for Brock
Purdy.
Eberflus, I get it. Your specialty is not the offensive side, but when you hear a play call coming through the headset, hey, let's give it to the big boy.
Yeah. Say no.
Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no. Fuck no. Abort. Timeout.
Timeout. Yeah.
Is that third or fourth down right there?
I think it was.
It wasn't fourth.
I think it was third, maybe even second.
Yeah.
Got serious questions, and Cowboys overall. Deshaun Watson / the quarterback play by Cleveland's, because it's not Stefanski, I don't think, that's calling it. I think it's got to be the front office, the ownership that's saying, play Deshaun, we're paying him. Yeah. And then Cowboys, Deshaun Watson, Matt Eberflus. Those are my three. Now time to kill myself.
Yeah, enjoy. These are soaking wet.
Also, why I'm a little feisty, Cowboys 10 opponents the rest of the year. There's only 2 games I think they even have a chance of winning. They go to Carolina. They host the Giants on Thanksgiving. And then guess who they play? They play the Texans. They play the Falcons. They play Philly twice. They play Washington twice. They play Cincinnati. They play Tampa Bay. Those are 8 other games that I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 5-11, 5-12. Tell me out of the
Those are tough,
Atlanta,
man.
Cincy. I've already forgotten. Tampa. Eagles twice.
And Washington.
Commanders twice. And then Houston.
Yeah.
Tell me how many of those games we're winning. Those 8 games.
Texans are pissed.
1.
But yeah.
1,
You might
2.
not win another divisional game with how everyone else is playing.
True.
We got Washington. We got the Giants on Thanksgiving.
But now they can run the ball.
True. Tyrone Tracy actually looks good.
Tracy looks great.
That's true. So I don't know. Cowboys figure the fuck out.
Yeah,
We'll see you in
amen.
the top 10 in April.
Yeah, hey, right there with you, Bucko. Let's go. Woo! All right, Addison. Collins had a lot to say about the Bears. I will say, coming off the bye, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
what do you got for us?
I'll
Talk
say
to us.
this real quick. Teams coming off the bye, 5-3 this year. 0-2 in week 8.
Gross.
Wow.
0-2 in week 8.
Yeah, tough. Coming off the bye, absolutely flat offense. I'm going to be shitting on the Bears a little bit, but I think I'm going to be hyping them up as well. The loss, I mean, we've already touched on it a little bit, but it's absolutely heartbreaking because there is zero right for the Chicago Bears to be in this football game. There's absolutely no offense for the first 3 quarters.
I think it's wet.
That I'm not excited for my turn.
These things are sopping.
But the one thing that does give me a little bit of hope is that 4th quarter, and it's Caleb Williams back against the wall when the defense does their job. He put the offense in position to score touchdowns. Was he part of the fumble at the goal line with Doug Kramer? Yes, he was. And might have even been a little bit on him. But at the end of the day, defense still gets another stop, and Caleb Williams leads another drive. And the Bears only get the ball on the 1-yard line because Caleb Williams was able to put a ball available for Keenan Allen, and he was able to draw a pass interference. And it's in the past, Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, I've watched over and over, them put in positions, and it's just they cannot get it done. And one thing I do have to say about Matt Eberflus as well is he's Justin Fields from last year.
Yeah.
It's, hey, man, you make the playoffs and win a game, we won't go get the shiny new toy. Yeah. If you don't, you're gone, and we are getting the brand new coach in this aspect. And it's just interesting because that was his quarterback's spot last year, and that's what he is this year because they're not going to fire him midseason. Bears literally have never fired a head coach in their entire history of the organization mid-year, and that's not going to start now. But things are bad. I mean, players are openly questioning the decision on the plays prior to the Hail Mary to the media, and it's like, man, that is either going to really bring the locker room together or the cracks are starting to show big time to the point now where Bears, if they get to 6-3, it's a sigh of relief when that would have been more than okay a couple weeks ago. And that's just weird to think, man. 6-3, if they get there, it's just, holy crap, we did it versus we're actually here. It's just a blessing. I mean, it's interesting right now. Bears are in a bad spot after the Hail Mary loss, and we'll see with Arizona coming up. I mean, they're tied for first, so and they're on the road. So Bears got to figure it out, but there's hope because of the way they finished the game. 3 quarters of dog shit. That's not good. That's all bad. But the way they finished, their offense put them in a spot to win. And you got to chuck it up as some bullshit, Jaden Daniels lost. But hey, you'll take it if you're the Commanders, and if that was the Bears, I'd be screaming happy, hallelujah. Yeah. So, but I'm still excited, and there's still positive for the Bears for me. So
I agree, rightfully so. And also, I doomed you by betting on them, mortal locking them.
Yeah.
Like, I take blame. I should have cashed out the Bears bet.
I had a bet money line, and right after the Hail Mary, I was like, wow, I didn't cash that out. Normally I would because it's just some bullshit.
Right, because you know.
Then it was a double slap in the nuts for me because it was bet loss and my favorite team just lost in the Hail Mary.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but I want to see how the Bears bounce back, and I hope it can be positive. But also, last thing, the starting slow is bad. And if you do that against really, really good teams, is Washington really, really good? They're good, but we've got 6 games against 2 at least elite teams in the division. They cannot start slow. You cannot have yards at all in the first half. And that's what the Bears did against Washington.
Yeah.
So there's still hope. There's still hope.
That's right. All right, Sage, go get them. These are wet.
Oh, and you guys left the big ones.
Sage.
Sad day. All right, so we already know that I'm gonna absolutely dog on
You
the.
don't know Ranch? This dude is nuts. That is
Insanity.
nuts.
Almost as nuts as fire John Harbaugh. You know what? And I'm still preaching that thing. Yeah. Here's the thing, all right? 2018 rolls around. We draft Lamar Jackson. 4 out of the 5 years before that, we missed the playoffs with Joe Flacco, right? 4 out of the 5. John Harbaugh's seat was hot.
Yeah.
We draft Lamar Jackson. He ends up saving the season after Joe Flacco goes down with a hip injury. We go to the playoffs. We lose pretty bad to the Chargers. We come back the next year. Lamar wins an MVP. All the while, Greg Roman is our offensive coordinator. Who hired Greg Roman? John Harbaugh. Who's also the offensive coordinator when opposing defenses are telling us our plays before we run them. And Lamar is obviously pissed. You know, it goes on for 3 years, and then we're like, you know what? Maybe we need a difference maker. You know, so we fire Greg Roman. Great call. You know, amazing call. We bring in Todd Monken, who has been absolutely phenomenal, aside from some big games where he forgets to run the ball. But who's hiring these people? It's John Harbaugh. Zach Orr right now has the exact same players as he did last year almost. The only person we're really missing is Patrick Queen, and I don't think Patrick Queen was that much of a difference maker. Ask Pittsburgh, because he's not. No one's praising Patrick Queen right now. It's all their young guys that they drafted. You know. So the coaching hires that John Harbaugh is making, I feel like he's just hiring his friends, hiring the people that he's close to. He wants to make this a family, and I want a good football team. You know. Right. Family's overrated. How many times do I have to hear John Harbaugh at the press right after a devastating loss to a middling to trash team say, yeah, God just didn't want us to win this one?
That's crazy to say that.
I'm sorry, but God's got bigger problems, dog.
Yeah, he's not worried about you.
He's not involved here. Sorry, but
Don't God to this.
Don't bring God into this.
Yeah. Sorry, this isn't a theology podcast, but we'll get back on track.
Not you, John Harbaugh. Don't bring God into it. You bring God into it.
Yeah. No,
My mouth needs God right now.
and if I'm a player in the locker room right then, and I'm hearing, oh, God wanted us to lose to the Cleveland Browns.
Why would God want anything good to happen to the
Like,
Browns?
that's not.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I mean, y'all are forgetting Jameis Winston almost got charged with the same thing
Yeah, no,
in
seriously.
college.
Stole crab legs.
Right.
Well, something else.
Yeah, similar to Deshaun Watson allegation.
Allegedly, but still, Jameis Winston. All of a sudden, now he's a preacher, and God wants him to win because that's how he talks before the games. But look at our other defensive coordinators that we could have had right now. You know, I mean, Anthony Weaver over at the Dolphins. I'm sure you love him.
I do.
Because even with him, he probably will be. Yeah, Mike McDonald going over Seattle. Mike McDonald had the exact same players last year. Number 1 defense. We led the NFL in sacks, takeaways, and points. How do you let that guy leave your building? How do you not just say, "Hey, John, let's take a step back"?
Right,
you know, you could even do the Bruce Arians route. You want a spot in the front office?
Right. Promote you.
We'll promote you. You'll be even more important. Mike McDonald takes over, hires whoever he wants as OC. Probably stays Todd Monken. I already had my rant about past years. Let's talk about this year. Let's talk about even a little bit into last year. Why can't we catch the ball in critical times? You know, not only just that huge bomb to Rashad Bateman, 3rd and 14, and he uncorks it for 50 yards, hits Bateman right here in the chest, bouncing off his face mask, and he's like, "Oh, sun got in my eyes." You're a professional receiver.
That was brutal.
That is your job, and if it hits you anywhere here, you need to catch that ball. And that goes for Eddie Jackson, who dropped 2 interceptions, Kyle Hamilton, who dropped that gut-wrenching pick at the end of the game. We just could not catch the entire day. And it reminds me of the Pittsburgh Steelers game we had last year, you know, where we lose to, I believe that was Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And
that sounds right.
the quarterbacks we lose to, like this year, we played Josh Allen, we played Joe Burrow, we played Dak Prescott. We beat all them. You know who we've lost to in the past 2 years? Besides Patrick Mahomes twice, Gardner Minshew twice.
Twice?
Yeah, twice. Colts and Raiders, Gardner Minshew. Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson.
That's gross.
It's absolutely disgusting. That's who we lose to.
You punch down. You go to your team that you're playing their level, and they beat you.
If we could play a Super Bowl contender every week, we'd be undefeated.
Unbelievable. Yep.
But unfortunately, we play a lower team, and we consistently look past to the next week. You know, and it happens so often with John Harbaugh, and every single time it happens, I'm like, why does this man still have a job when Lamar Jackson saved this man and the entire franchise's job?
He might have.
I think it's literally not even Lamar, like, putting the offense on his back. He's putting the front office on his back. Mm-hmm. He's putting John Harbaugh on his back. He's putting the defense on his back sometimes.
Yeah, he's one of those quarterbacks that saves jobs. Ask Sean McDermott in Buffalo. He will have a job as long as Josh Allen is playing football for him because they will continue to win 10 to 12 football games.
Lamar, I pray that you get it. I pray to God, this is where you can pray, John Harbaugh, that you get an offensive-minded head coach that wants to unlock everything you want to do. It won't happen, though.
Yeah, it's unlikely.
It won't happen.
All right, Sage, you enjoy that wing, buddy. This is going to be fun for me. I really want to enjoy this
I
part.
forgot to talk about while doing the wings, and Sage, you reminded me of it. It's got to be the Ravens' defensive backs in their hands.
Dude.
I don't care if you need stick 'em, Gorilla Glue.
You got to do something.
You got to catch these balls.
Kyle Hamilton cannot drop. I mean, that was game. That was game. That was the game.
4 times.
Yeah. Did you see another one? Oh, I thought you said
No,
another one. Okay.
I was shutting down.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Even just being open was burning
Just
up.
burning the nostrils. Yeah, Sage is about to be in some serious
That's
pain.
going to be a
The
bad.
Ravens defense, I talked about them, and we'll dive into our power rankings in a moment, but I remember saying, like, Jameis Winston is going to win or lose, we booze. Jameis Winston's going to fire that ball down the field nonstop, and he's going to throw picks. I think the Ravens dropped 4 interceptions. Honest to God. I think the Ravens dropped 4 picks in that game.
Give me that carrot.
Eddie Jackson sucks.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson, here, it's in there. He's got to work around to get
Kyle
to it.
Hamilton, you want to be an all-pro, act like it.
Act like it. You'll be a first-round lineman, act like it.
Jackson was bad on the Bears, and now he's bad on a.
Bad on the Ravens. Bad on the Ravens. He's struggling. And, yeah, that was tough to watch because we were all watching that game here, and Kyle Hamilton has it, and Sage is like, yes! And we're all like, they did it! Because I have them in a parlay. I could love a Ravens victory. Colin would love a Ravens victory. And he just cannot hang on to it. It's like, how do you not catch that ball? Brutal, brutal, brutal.
Kyle Hamilton was the only reason our defense got off the field at all that day.
True. He was
So you
moving
get
around.
one.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you entirely, but Eddie
No.
Jackson, you should be cut, you should be fired.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson should be cut.
Eddie Jackson's got to go. Him and Greg's Wehrlein need to be shot into the sun.
Put it on that Cedric Tillman touchdown, and
Uh-huh.
he just doesn't have it.
No, he's lost a step for sure.
We got an undrafted free agent. He's a safety, Bo Braid. Put him in.
Yeah,
No,
anybody.
I mean,
Anybody.
honestly.